Hello. Welcome to Examining Fictional Heroes and the authors behind them. My name is Wayne Browder. Tonight, we're going to continue with Sons of the Hawk, a Gordon story by Robert E. Howard. At this point, Brent, if you remember, has been captured and taken to the city of Rub el Harami and put in a prison there referred to as the abode of the damned. Brent awoke with the light of a torch dazzling his eyes. He saw a tall, powerful man in a long satin caftan and a green turban with a gold brooch. From beneath this turban, wide gray eyes, as cold as a sword of ice, regarded him. "You are Stuart Brent." It was a statement, not a question. The man spoke English with only a hint of an accent, but that hint was unmistakable. Brent made no reply. This was Abdel Kafid, of course. But it was like meeting a character of fable clothed in flesh. Abdel Kafid and El Barak had begun to take on the appearance in Brent's worn brain of symbolic will-o'-the-wisps, non-existent twin phantoms luring him to his doom. But here stood half of that phantasm, living and speaking. Perhaps El Barak was equally real. "My spies watched you all the way from San Francisco. I knew you would not have immediately sailed for India had not Richard Stockton told you something before he died. Stockton knew that the only man who could harm me was El Barak. I am safe from the English here, safe from the Emir. El Barak could cause me trouble if he suspected my true identity. As it is, so long as he considers me merely Abdel Kafid, a Muslim fanatic from Samarkand, he will not interfere. But if he should learn who I really am, he would guess why I am here and what I am doing. So I let you come up the Khyber unmolested. It was evident by this time that you intended giving the news directly to El Barak. And my spies told me El Barak had vanished in the hills. I knew when you left Kabul, searching for him. And I sent Muhammad az-Zahir to capture and bring you here. You were easy to trace. A Melakani wandering in the hills with a band of Kabuli soldiery. So you entered Rub el Harami at last, the only way an infidel may enter, as a captive, destined for the slave block. You are an infidel, retorted Brent. If I expose your true identity to these people. The strong shoulders under the caftan shrugged. The imams know I was born a Russian. They know likewise that I am a true Muslim, that I forswore Christianity and publicly acknowledged Islam years ago. My name is Abdel Kafid. Tell the people of Rub el Harami that I am a Christian. They will laugh at you. To the masses, I am a Muslim like themselves, To the Council of Imams, I am a true convert. Brent said nothing. He was in a trap he could not break. You are but a fly in my web, said Abdelkafid contemptuously. So unimportant that I intend to tell you my full purpose. The Black Tigers compose a very ancient society. It originally grew out of the bodyguard of Genghis Khan. After his death, they settled in Rub al-Harami, even then an outlaw city, and became the ruling caste. It expanded into a secret society, always with its headquarters here in this city. It soon became Muslim, a clan of fanatical haters of the Ferengi, and the emirs sold the swords of their followers to many leaders of jihad. It flourished, then decayed. 100 years ago, the clan was nearly exterminated in a hill feud, and the organization became a shadow, limited to the rulers and officials of Rub al-Harami alone. But they still held the city. 10 years ago, I cut loose from my people and became a Muslim, heart and soul. In my wanderings, I discovered the Black Tigers and saw their potentialities. I journeyed to Rub al-Harami, and here I stumbled upon a secret that set my brain on fire. But I run ahead of my tale. It was only 3 years ago that I gained admittance into the clan. It was during the 7 years preceding that, 7 years of wandering, fighting, and plotting all over Asia, that I clashed more than once with El-Barak and learned how dangerous the man was, and that we must always be enemies, since our interests and ideals were so antithetical. So when I came to Rub al-Harami, I simply dropped out of sight of El-Barak and all other adventurers that, like him and me, roved the waste places of the East. Before I came to the city, I spent months in erasing my tracks. Vladimir Jakrovich, known also as Akbar Shah, disappeared entirely. Not even El-Barak connected him with Abdelkafid, wanderer from Samarkand. I had stepped into a completely new role and personality. If El-Barak should see me, he might suspect, but he never shall, except as my captive. But he would guess its true meaning if he knew that Abdelkafid is the man he fought up and down the length and breadth of Asia years ago. Did you ever hear of the Golden Cave of Shaitan el-Kabir? It lies within a day's ride of the city, so carefully hidden that an army of men might search for it forever in vain. But I have seen it. It is a sight to madden a man, heaped from floor to roof with blocks of gold. It is the offerings to Shaitan, custom dating from old heathen days. Every year 100 weight of gold, levied on the people of the city, is melted and molded in small blocks and carried and placed in the cave by the imams and the emir. Do you mean to tell me that a treasure of that size exists near the city of thieves? Demanded Brent incredulously. Why not? Have you not heard the city's customs are unbending as iron? Only the imams know the secret of the cave. The knowledge is handed down from imam to imam, from emir to emir. The people do not know. They suppose the gold is taken by Shaitan to his infernal abode. If they knew, they would not touch it. Take gold dedicated to Shaitan the damned? You little know the Oriental mind. Not a Muslim in the world would touch a grain of it, even though he were starving. But I am free of such superstitions. Within a few days, the gift to Shaitan will be placed in the cave. It will be another year before the imams visit the cavern again. And before that time comes around, I will have accomplished my purpose. With it, I can feed and equip an army. I can buy rifles, ammunition, machine guns, airplanes, and mercenaries to fly them. I can arm every cutthroat in the Himalayas. These hill tribes have the making of the finest army in the world. All they need is equipment, and that equipment I will supply. The imams will kill you, whispered Brent, appalled. They will not know for nearly a year. I will invent a lie to explain my great wealth. They will not suspect until they open the cave next year. Then it will be too late. Then I will be free from the black tigers. I will be an emperor. Why tell me this? Asked Brent. What's to prevent me from betraying you to the imams? You will never see an imam, was the grim reply. I will see that you have no opportunity to talk. But enough of this. I allowed you to come alive to Rub el Harami only because I wanted to learn what secret password Stockton gave you to use with the British officials. I know you had one by the speed and ease with which you were passed up to Kabul. I have long sought to get one of my spies into the very vitals of the Secret Service. This password will enable me to do so. Tell me what it is. Brent laughed sardonically then. You're going to kill me anyway. I certainly don't intend to deprive myself of this one tiny crumb of retaliation. I'm not going to put another weapon in your filthy hands. You're a fool, exclaimed Abdel-Kafid, with a flash of anger too sudden, too easily aroused for complete self-confidence. The man was on edge, and not so sure of himself as he seemed. Doubtless, agreed Brent tranquilly. And what about it? Very well. Abdel-Kafid restrained himself by an obvious effort. I cannot touch you tonight. You are the property of the city. According to age-old custom, not even I can ignore. But tomorrow you will be sold on the block to the highest bidder. No one wants a Ferengi slave, except for the pleasure of torturing. They are too soft for hard work. I will buy you for a few rupees, and then there will be nothing to prevent my making you talk. before I fling your mangled carcass out on the garbage heap for the vultures, you will have told me everything I want to know. In another part of the city, Shirkuh lounged on a silken divan, under the glow of bronze lamps that struck sparkling glints from the rich wine brimming in golden goblets. Shirkuh drank deep, smacking his lips desert fashion, as a matter of politeness to his host. He seemed to have no thought in the world except the quenching of his thirst. But Alafdal Khan, on another couch, knit his brows in perplexity. He was uncovering astonishing discoveries in this wild young warrior from the western mountains, unsuspected subtleties and hidden depths. Why do you wish to buy this Melikani? He demanded. He is necessary to us, asserted Shirkuh. With the bronze lamps throwing his face into half shadow, the boyishness was gone, replaced by a keen, hawk-like hardness and maturity. We must have him. I will buy him in the suck tomorrow, and he will aid us in making you Emir of Rub al-Harami. But you have no money, expostulated the Waziri. You must lend it to me. But Abd al-Kafid desires him, argued Alafdal Khan. He sent Muhammad az-Zahir out to capture him. It would be unwise to bid against the Emir. From what you have told me of the city, this is the situation. Only a certain percent of the citizens are black tigers. They constitute a ruling class and a sort of police force to support the Emir. The Emirs are complete despots, except when checked by customs, whose roots are lost in the mists of antiquity. They rule with an iron reign over a turbulent and lawless population, composed of the dregs and scum of Central Asia. That is true, agreed Alafdal Khan. But in the past, the people have risen and deposed a ruler who trampled on tradition, forcing the Black Tigers to elevate another prince. Very well. It is upon the crowd in the streets we must rely. You are popular with the masses. They are almost ready to rise under you were you to declare yourself. But that will come later. They need a leader and a motive. We will supply both. But first, we must secure the Ferengi. With him safe in our hands, we will plan our next move in the game. Alafdal Khan scowled, his powerful fingers nodding about the slender stem of the wine glass. Conflicting emotions of vanity, ambition, and fear played across his face. You talk high, he complained. You ride into Rub al-Harami, a penniless adventurer, and say you can make me Emir of the city. How do I know you are not an empty bag of wind? Shirkuh set down the wine glass and rose, folding his arms somberly down at the astounded Waziri, all naiveness and reckless humor gone out of his face. He spoke a single phrase, and Alafdal ejaculated stranglingly and lurched to his feet, spilling his wine. Do you believe now that I can make you Emir of Rub al-Harami? demanded Shirkuh. Who could doubt it? Panted Alafdal. Have you not put kings on their thrones? But you were mad to come here. One word to the mob and they would rend you limb from limb. You will not speak that word, said Shirkuh with conviction. You will not throw away the lordship of Rub al-Harami. Once again, guys, thank you for listening. Hope I haven't been overly long. Obviously, I don't read these things word for word. That would take too long. Plus, I possibly might be infringing on rights were I to go word for word in any of these videos. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll tune in for more. And I hope you get something out of these videos. I appreciate you listening. Have a good night.